Hey, Tunist. One sec. My cam is... There we go. Fixed it. I fixed it. As my game loads. Probably also turn it down. Hello, chat. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Come chill out. Come hang out with me. Oh, I'm sorry, FK. I can't play with you right now. I'm sorry. Hello, hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. I should start streaming during the day for summer. I know it's like a little bit late for that fucking realization, right? Lots of people, not a lot to do, right? Outside of work. Because everyone wants to go play D&D during the evening and everything, and go do the stuff in the evening. But then there's everyone else who's like, well, I'm home for like 5 or 6 hours doing fuck all.
Lieutenant Titus, see me on the crew deck at once.
As you wish, Chaplain.
What if I don't want to?
Ensure brothers Chiron and Gadriel are in attendance.
What if I don't want to? What if I want to go back to Kadaku and do Skyfire? How about that? Fuck you. Fuck you, Chaplain. Yeah. Look at that, chat. Don't give two flying fucks with that Chaplain thinks. So yeah, I'm just gonna be playing by myself and chatting, because I was supposed to stream yesterday. I didn't. My apologies. Ah, shit. The principal is calling. But yeah, sorry I didn't stream yesterday. I got distracted with stuff. I was,
What is our assignment?
The Cadians have lost control of the orbital guns.
I
We have to recapture them.
got
Lost them
distracted with
already?
stuff.
The Tyranids are hurling spores of
Good
those
news
guns
is
in
the army
great
is ready
waves.
for the tournament.
I'm impressed the Cadians held out this long.
The army is ready. My 1,000 sons are ready to go for this weekend.
Brothers Lirio,
I'm going to be
Altarius, and Alien make up
barely
the
in
rest of our
contact
squad.
on Discord.
Have any of you faced Tyranids before?
Only these past 2 days.
Then there is much to learn.
I look forward to it.
Obstructed. Stand aside.
Those warheads are properly secured. Do you know what will happen if one comes loose?
Pity the effects of the virus bomb was
Sergeant?
Brothers, we are joined by Lieutenant Titus.
Welcome, brother.
Nice, I've got my Imperial
We are
Knights
yours
prep
to
for a
command.
tournament I'm heading to this
We
weekend.
leave
I'm going to the
immediately.
Edmonton Open.
Yes, Lieutenant.
If you're in Edmonton, I'm going to be there. I think the worst thing about Space Remaster Crowd is the fact that you have to deal with Leandros whining throughout it. Time for some double seal clubbing. Oh my god. So, this is going to be a little bit of a heavier stream. This is going to be a little bit of a heavier stream, but it's something that I do want to talk about. And I want to have this on record. I want to have this, just a tournament by FLGS is hosting. Oh, okay, nice. But this is something that I want to talk about, because if you don't know, I watch a guy named Steve Boots. He's a Canadian content creator. Love him a lot. He rates this channel once in a while. Very good lad. Very good lad. He brought up... I watched one of his videos today, and he brought up how in a lot of circles, we are leaving men behind. That these circles... Sorry, drinking coffee. The addiction is real. But how these progressive groups, these we leave men behind. We don't address their issues. And oh Jesus.
The situation here has deteriorated.
Hello.
Those foul gargoyles pollute the skies.
The Tyranids have the orbital guns.
They do.
I'm gonna turn this game down for a minute, because like they're
These unrelenting attacks make a counteroffensive difficult.
We shall take care of that.
so we leave people behind. And what does that mean? What does it mean that we leave people behind? Well, we aren't addressing genuine concerns these people have. Like, they sound outrageous to us. They sound insane to us. And to be fair, when common sense wins out, yes, it is true that those things seem insane to someone with common sense. But we continue to live in a world where common sense is not taught anymore. Where the systems that are meant to teach these things, like critical thinking, critical analysis, bias, checks in your own biases, we aren't teaching that anymore. And the systems that are meant to help us are continually sabotaged by those who want to continue to take advantage of men who are genuinely in positions of weakness and in positions where they feel insecure. And where do people, when they want a sense of community, when they want a sense of belonging, what do? Well, they join groups. An instance as well where you want to, you know, de-stress, not worry about stuff, not worry about like the worries at home. You don't want to think about work. Or you want to go play a game, right? You want to go play a tabletop game with your buds, your friends. You just want to go have a good time. And so, these people go into Warhammer, they go into Battletech, they go into all these different gaming spaces. Because they just want to have a good time. They don't want to stress. And that's relatable, right? You don't want to stress. I don't want to stress. I don't want to be like stressed the fuck out 24/7, right? You don't. And same with these guys, right? Like, there's a lot. There's a lot. Especially nowadays, but you all see what's going on in the world. Especially if you live south of my border. There's a lot going on. So, you can't blame somebody who's just like, hey, everything's depressing right now. I just want to go roll some dice, play some games with my friends, and turn my brain off outside of strategizing, you know? But then, those same influences that are sabotaging these men, these same political groups that have an agenda, they come in and are using the same tactics, the same ideas, the same tactics that they use to sabotage the social systems and networks that these men need, are coming into the wargaming space and are now sabotaging the wargaming space. They have made the wargaming space a war zone.
Everyone at this base owes you their life, my lords.
orbital
And
guns
you've
are on the other
heard
side of the
heard
swamp.
these arguments
Be
before.
alert. The Tyranids will be lying in wait.
Feminists are coming in and ruining the game of Warhammer 40k. They are pushing
Let us get to work.
the woke.
where the swarm
The
originated.
woke are coming in
These abhorrent
and
husks are everywhere.
pushing real players out.
Machines.
Indeed. Their ships, these
Etc.,
pods,
etc., etc.
Their very existence is heresy.
The very same groups that they are targeting out in real life. And these men, these guys who are just here because they're scared, because they don't have anywhere to go, or feel like they have nothing,
Reload.
they then see those same reactionaries freaking the fuck out, and that gives them their bias. They start falling in on their own biases.
Well.
Because why would they not believe that? Look at these people demonizing men in public spaces. Look at them
Stop moving.
look at them blame men for everything. Now, are men to blame for everything? Yes and no. Men, very powerful men, put these institutions and political groups in power.
Thank you, brother.
And
One less route.
yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy for those marginalized groups, the LGBTQ, women, minorities. It's very easy to fall in and say that white men bad or men bad in general. But we have to start realizing that we are now in an age where we can't just say that.
Munitions
We
secured.
can't just say that. Because people are lacking the skills to discern and critically think. When you say all, you do not mean me. Because I don't do that. When someone hears all, they hear and think all.
Reloading weapon.
And you can't assume anymore that people are going to critically think because they don't. They don't. My father says he critically thinks. He does not. I say I critically think. There are times where I fail to critically think.
Changing magazine.
I let my anxiety, I let my stress, I let my worry get the better of me, and I stop
The
critically
orbital
thinking.
guns was costly, and they paid for it.
Emotion overrides
Enemy
logic.
numbers are not insignificant.
Fear overrides logic.
We'll have to do better.
And when someone is scared, being the logical, calm voice,
You're familiar
it's very
with the
hard to
skull
deal
ground?
with when someone's
I am.
scared. It's
How
very
are the
hard.
Tyranids compared to other Xenos?
They are an unrelenting plague, but they are cunning.
Because
The controlling influence of their
How do I put
hive
this? How do I put
mind
this?
makes them act as one.
when you're scared, you don't want to listen to people that make you uncomfortable. You want to listen to your friends, your family, or those that you regularly listen to. It took a while for me to stop reacting to things when I know they are false or about me when someone says all that. Exactly.
Let us take
And
the
I need to
gods
remind
and
you all,
destroy them.
I used to be a part of those groups. I used to be a fan of Arch Warhammer. I used to be a fan of the Quartering. They are very good at inflaming and lying. They are very good at it. And their way of producing content, yeah, it's low grade, it's low effort, but here's the thing. They don't care. They never gave a shit that their stuff is lazy and boring as shit because they pump out so much of
I
it.
served the Emperor elsewhere.
The Death Watch.
They
Yes.
pump out, or I pump out like a video every once a week. Not this week though, because I'm busy. They pump out 5 videos in a day, talking about stuff that they know they're lying about, but they know their audience isn't going to look at it. Because all they have to do is show one part of the article, take it out of context, and you're hooked. You're hooked. You don't bother to read it because you're assuming everything that your favorite content creator has said is 100% accurate. You don't need to look into it. And of course, they conveniently say, they conveniently don't say, like, go read it yourself, go form your own opinions. No, they want their audience to be led by the fucking leash. And of course, when you're scared, when you're worried, you're not going to go do that. You're not going to go research. You're not going to look into it. You're going to believe what the person who clearly read it and educated themselves on it has said, even though they didn't. Every time, without fail, you can find all these things. You can see them doing it. And we can constantly point out when they look fucking stupid, but they don't care. They never care. Because that's not the point. They've already won by shitting out their bullshit 50 times in a month. Whereas we put out one thing that's barely been seen. That's barely been shared around. It emboldens those that don't give a shit if they're lying. And it gives them ammo to go send stuff out to people that are scared, that are worried, that don't know any better. And can you get mad at somebody for not knowing better? Perhaps. But it's the equivalent of getting mad at a child for not knowing something they did was wrong. You don't get mad at a kid for swearing because they didn't know it was wrong. They didn't know. So what do? You talk to them. You educate them on why it's wrong. But here's another trick of the trade that these antagonizers, these worms, these parasites, they use on
straddling the riverbed. We will cut through there.
But that will add
language,
considerable time.
wording.
Surely
we will not.
You remember trigger words, right? Trigger words?
As you command.
Trigger words are a very real thing. False accusation, feminism, LGBTQ rights, all these kinds of things. When we say these things, these people who are scared, who are worried about all these things that these parasites have now filled their heads with,
Understood. Thank you, Lirio.
their minds are immediately going to those negative things when you say those things. When you say, we need more women in Warhammer, they immediately go, because that well is poison. They immediately go, oh, so you want to replace all characters with females. Even though that's not what you said, but the well is poison. The well is poison. Because that's what their brains are immediately going to, because they're scared. Because immediately, now, it starts a domino chain. It starts a domino effect in their head. First we do that, and then it leads to this, and then it leads to that, and then it leads to this. That domino effect is scary. And then they start thinking about that picture of, we allow one woman into the space, and then they allow other people into the space that pushes us out. Because fear does not give a shit about reality. It doesn't. Using my own hobby space as an example. We allowed women to play in the games. We allowed people of color to come play in the games. Did this push out all the white men? Did men stop being able to play Warhammer 40k? Was it all just the gays and the drags coming in and ruining everything? No. That's not what happened. We let people come in. They play a war game. We all mind our own fucking business. Sometimes people go over to other tables, watch, talk, socialize, make friends, have a laugh. talk about the most recent opens, tournaments that played in, or, you know, talk about fluff. And we just go about our day. But here's the thing. Not everyone has a local community that you can go to see how that comic is a bunch of bullshit and lies. They don't have the real world examples immediately in front of their
There
face.
they are. The orbital guns.
Because, for example, I live in a town where there's like 3 gaming clubs in my town. In Edmonton, there's like over 40. In Calgary, there's like 30. But what about places where it's a small town and like there's maybe like 3 or 4 Warhammer 40k players in the town? What if it's a place where their local gaming club is literally just, hey, I'm a teacher at the local school and I've opened up my classroom late at night so we could all play Warhammer together. What about those things? They don't see them. So then you get these people who are genuinely worried they're going to lose those spaces because they've lost those spaces before. It's more irrationality being used against them. I always found those, if we let them in, it cannot be part of it anymore arguments weird. I couldn't figure out why they thought that was the end result. Because when you're scared, you're not thinking, right?
Munitions secured.
You're not. When you are in survival mode, you are thinking about how to either get out of the situation you're in, or how to remove the thing causing the stress. And for these men who are scared, how do they remove the threat that is scaring them? By not letting it in. Because they are convinced that if they let it in, it's going to hurt them. And using me as an example. I was falsely accused of rape. I was falsely accused of it. And that hurt me a lot.
Resupplying.
But
You will desert your post, guardsman.
No, Lord. Never!
oh,
We've locked
they
them in.
changed it.
We can do no more.
Okay.
Open the gate.
Yes, my lord. Open the gates. But sir, you
Sorry, I need to explain this. I pissed someone off, and they accused me of X. They accused me of rape. Now, was that true? No, not even in the slightest. I was proven innocent in every way, shape, and form. But you see, but then my social situation sort of changed. A lot of people avoided me in the hallways. A lot of people whispered that I was a freak, that I was a creep, all that kind of stuff. That's scary. And that damaged me. And it made it easier for those parasites to get in and start gnawing and start eating away at my rationality and emboldening my paranoia and my fear. It was very easy for them to do that. And other men seeing that, seeing other men who were falsely accused, it scares them too, because what if that was me? What if that was me? And we let those people in, they're going to accuse us. They're going to push us out. That's the fear. That's the fear talking. Even though my situation was, I helped a friend get out of an abusive friend group that was treating them like shit, and then that friend group, losing that sense of power over somebody, lashed the fuck out. That's what happened. Speaking of, that friend is doing a lot better. They're in LARPing groups now that actually treat them with fucking love and respect. Very happy for them. But these are genuine concerns that people have. genuine concerns. And how are these concerns and fears met? They're met with genuine disdain, ridicule, and or just ignored entirely. Now, we can argue day in, day out that, like, well, what about actual victims of these crimes? Like, they get ignored all the time. And yes, they do. Yes, they do. I'm not trying to discredit one side over the other. That's not what I'm doing. But it is what the other side is. It is what the people who want to be able to get away with those things want to do. And they want to make vulnerable men easier to manipulate. And I'm going to use the gaming community as an example. When Anita Sarkeesian was around, did she make good arguments? Yes. Did she make very poor arguments? Yes. But here's the thing. When she was threatened multiple times with her life and everything else, the men who felt ignored, the men that felt attacked and ostracized, didn't care that she was being attacked and ostracized because her groups attacked them, or they felt like they were under attack and no one was taking them seriously, that they were being seen as monsters, as rapists, or like that the Call of Duty lobbies were the example of every gaming community, or that all men were just these perverted tyrants that just wanted women in a sexual position or sexual situation. There was no nuance to these characters. And they ignored the very obvious problematic signs that people were actually threatening Anita. That her life was very much in danger. She had bomb threats actively throughout her presentations. There were multiple times where she had to be dragged away from her fucking speeches and everything because there was a bomb threat. Were there actual bombs there? Yes and no. Sometimes there were. Sometimes those threats were very serious. Other times they weren't. But you can't take that risk, King. But you see what it does, chat. You see what these things do.
Everybody inside, now!
Yes, my lord!
Should we not eliminate the remains of the swarm? There will always be more. We must focus on taking down the hive ship.
Guardsmen, get these gates closed.
Yes, my lord! Transmitting command now! Stand by!
And there's another reason why I want you all to see my face today and not the mold. Because I'm showing anybody who would watch this, or that you would share this with, to see that I'm being genuine. You see my face. You see who I am.
To see the worst of them.
Oh, I look forward to it.
And I want to help give the tools that help bring me out of that pipeline. That help me get out of that. And I promise that once I'm done giving this advice, we'll move on to cheerier topics. I promise. I promise we will. So, when you encounter these guys, don't dismiss their fear. Don't dismiss their words immediately. The one thing you need to say to them is, why do you think that? And then,
Major Sakana,
you let them talk.
we met
You
with
let
one
them-
of your squads.
You let them fill out.
Thank you, my lord.
You let them
I shall
vent
give
it
you
out.
orders.
Because they don't have a place to vent this stuff unless it's online in a chat room that is a echo chamber. Regardless what these people say about the left or about groups that allow minorities to play in them. They are actually in the echo chamber. We are not. Empathy is not endorsement. Exactly. Exactly, Will. Empathy is not an endorsement of one's values or beliefs. It is hearing them out, and then, once they've spoken their piece, you ask, okay, now can I speak? You ask them. Because you gotta remember, these people are scared, and they might not be in a position to listen to you. Because they genuinely don't know what to do. Or they're not interested in hearing another point of view. But then, you made them feel heard. You may not believe anything that they said, or you know that they're half-informed, and you want to inform them of the full truth. But you need to get that permission first. Just like how when someone is in crisis mode, you ask, like, hey, I am a first responder. May I assist? You gotta treat it that way. These are people in crisis mode, they're in panic mode. And then, if they give you the permission to speak and counter, you do. But avoid certain words and phrases that have been poisoned by the parasites. So, don't say minority, just say people. People just want to play the game. Or use your own examples against them. Show them that that's not your experience. When someone said, oh, these hobby groups are being ruined, I'm like, no, they're not. At least mine isn't. Mine allows everybody. Doesn't matter who they are. We just allow people to come play, and we just play. If you're a problem, you're a problem, and we remove you. You see how, in general, that sounds and how logical that sounds? If you're a problem, we remove you. And then they ask, well, what does it mean by problem? Oh, you know, if you're being disruptive, if you're being a general nuisance to the community, if, like, the average stuff that no one would complain about. Or, like, find very hard reason to argue against. You know? Like, if you're genuinely annoying someone at their table when they're playing a game, you want them removed, right?
This is Lieutenant Titus. Identify yourself.
And I pointed out that, like, we've had both sides be removed. We've had, reactionaries just be removed from the venues because they're genuinely being fucking annoying. They're genuinely being a problem. They are genuinely being a symptom that is causing annoyance. And they are removed. You see how much better that is to hear than just saying, like, oh, we removed a guy for his political beliefs. We aren't saying that. We're saying we annoyed someone for being annoying. That is much more neutral. Yeah, presentation is important. Presentation is very important. This is something that matters. No one gives a shit about the message you are trying to convey if you can't convey it correctly. If you can't present the argument in a way or form that is understandable and easy to digest. Because we've all dealt with that person before. We've all dealt with the annoying shit stain who just, like, God, shut the fuck up at the table, right? We don't want to deal with them. We don't want to hear from them. They're genuinely fucking annoying, right? Oop, shit. From. Oop. Like that one guy who is screaming in your game chats that, like, oh my god, we should go for B! We should go for B! You don't want to fucking listen to that guy. He's annoying as shit. So yeah, no shit he gets kicked from the lobby. He's fucking annoying everybody. That kind of person. Or someone who's just genuinely, like, being a fucking creep. Like, he's being very creepy towards women. Or, people within the community. He's just being that creepy. We kick them out. You use examples like that. And then, you have instantly diffused the situation. Not entirely. Not entirely. But, you've kicked in that rational brain. Okay, if it doesn't happen there, then why do people say it happens over here? I don't know. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But were you there, and can you corroborate? Do they have a public Facebook group or public group that you can go look into and ask questions about? Because I guarantee you most of these clubs do. There were multiple times where these content creators like Arch and the Quartering reported on people being kicked out of clubs, gaming clubs and such, and then not elaborating, just saying like, oh, they got kicked out for their politics. And that these people are being like biased against them.
I thought him lost.
When you actually go and ask these groups why these people got kicked out, guess what? They were being annoying. They were being hostile. They were being unreasonable. They were attacking people for shit that's not even related to the fucking games. That's not even related to what's going on. They were genuinely being a disturbance. And many of these store owners and many of these clubs will tell you, we knew why they were doing it, because they wanted to act inflammatory and get kicked out. So that way they could go bitch about how they were discriminated against for their political beliefs. They did that on purpose. So that people like Arch and Quartering would report on it to spread that men are being targeted and that men are being kicked out of these clubs because of feminism or DEI. That kind of bullshit.
Not today.
But again, the people that are scared, that are falling for this stuff, they don't hear that. They don't
take
look
that
into
as a compliment.
Aiden, we need to take back those orbital guns.
So you need to present yourself as someone who's willing to
Seal's
listen,
done, Captain.
and then
Yes, sir.
present yourself
Let's
as
give 'em a
somebody who's,
taste of
okay,
Kenyan wrath.
can I tell you my experience? Not your opinion, your experience. Because someone with experience has much more than somebody who says, oh, well, I just have an opinion.
With great pleasure, my lord.
Oh, yeah, it also makes them money. Chat, as an example, gonna drink some water here quick. As an example, a lady, let's just call her the Wicked Witch of, the Wicked Witch, she accosted an autistic toddler, a child with autism, a black child with autism, accosted him and demeaned him, treated him like shit, hurled racist slurs at the kid, and she was on the face of public TV. She was all over the place. And she, who, by the way, initiated all of this, she plays victim, and she is rewarded with millions of dollars to move house. Millions. Because she framed herself as the victim. Even though all the recordings show otherwise, but people don't look at the recordings, do they? They see the headline from her allies, woman is accosted by thugs. They don't look into it. They don't care. The narrative's already built. The presentation's already there. The stage is set, and she now has millions. And she did all this to make money. Does she actually believe what she said? I can't tell you, because I don't know what she truly believes. But I can tell you that her actions got her millions of dollars, which makes it really suspect. And it's really sad that a lot of people supported this wicked witch and rewarded her horrific behavior because all she had to do was cry crocodile tears online and have her friends lie for her.
The way is clear.
Proceed.
But the presentation is what matters. People don't give a shit. Once you have the hook, you have them hooked. And it's easy to hook somebody through fear. Because people don't think when they're scared. So, for the wargaming community, how do we counter these... How do we counter these beliefs? How do we counter these groups? Well, for one, calling out those creators, it helps. Showing that these creators are lying, it helps. But we need to do more than that.
Restocking.
For one, these conversations online are pointless. Because people don't give a shit. In a comment section, they can't see the person they're talking to.
Munitions secured.
But what you can do is that you can share videos disproving them around, like videos disproving these talking points around. You can do that. And don't just assume that someone else is going to do it. Don't just assume someone else is going to do it. You need to do it yourself. This is all a community effort. Just like how a new rules thing is shared around. If someone's lying about the Warhammer community, you need to share the truth around and show that this isn't the thing that they're talking about. If someone is kicked out of the community for a very good reason, share it around. Share why they were kicked out. Don't let them get the stage. Or if they have the stage, take it back from them immediately. Show their negative behavior. Write it down. Take pictures, record video, record audio.
Move to link up with the cadence. As you command,
That situation in Spain where that player showed up with the Nazi paraphernalia. A reason why so many groups freaked the fuck out was because they don't give a shit if he was wearing Nazi paraphernalia. He was kicked out for it. They don't care about that. And the guys who were lying about it, they don't give a shit. They just said he was kicked out for his political beliefs. They didn't specify what beliefs those were. And he wasn't even kicked out. He wasn't even kicked out. His opponents just decided not to play against him, but he was threatened with it too. What would have helped was pictures of the shit that he was wearing. Educate people on why the symbols that he was wearing were wrong and why people took issue with it. And record the things that he was saying. He was in...
Lieutenant,
It was swastika dice. Exactly!
facility will take time.
A little redecorating will speed things up.
Exactly. He was being a genuine nuisance. He was being a genuine fucking problem. And he was genuinely just trying to get a reaction out of people. He wasn't there to have fun. He was there to be annoying as shit. Which is more than enough reason to kick somebody out. If you're there to be annoying and just get a rise out of people, you're a piece of shit. Fuck off. No one wants to deal with you. But where we failed was that we didn't jump on that presentation. We didn't jump and show people that
Take it down.
he was genuinely being a piece of shit. And we should have shown that. We should have shown him being a piece of shit. Would everyone have believed it? Probably not. But the people that do matter, the people that would have seen it, they would know. And then you're dispelling it immediately. So that way only the fringest and craziest people believe it, and you ostracize those crazies, those leeches, those parasites. Or they don't poison the well. We need to get better at this. As the rational side of this community.
Major,
And that's why I'm saying rational. It is rational to want people to play Warhammer. It is rational to allow as many people to play Warhammer as possible. Not just Warhammer, but Battletech, Trench Crusade, because we want to have fun. When you play a game, unless it's a single-player game, you want to play with people. Games are fun when you have more people. Can they be fun alone? Yes. But we want more people to play with us. We want more people, more experiences. But we need to also start dispelling these fears and paranoia that allowing people into these spaces ruins the game. My new friend Rommel. He's not white. Is he ruining the game? No. I play competitive games with him, and me and him share ideas and paint jobs that we've done. He's letting me borrow his 2 forge beams for the tournament. His 2 very well painted and excellent looking forge beams, he's letting me use for the tournament because GW is sold out, and trying to get my hands on ectoplasmic cannons is a nightmare. If Rommel wasn't in my community, I would be struggling to think of a list that I could run for the Edmonton Open that we're going to. Me and him are going to.
Understood. Runners, let us make haste.
And I'm very glad to have his friendship, because he is genuinely a very sweet guy. He is extremely fun to play against. I learn a lot when playing with him. And these are experiences that I would not trade for the world. And I want more people to have that. Not less.
Loading up.
And just that experience alone dispels so much bullshit. Makes people think, am I wrong? Now, are you going to have the people that take that a step further, like, is my experiences wrong? Was I wrong to think this way? Some will, some won't.
Grabbing equipment.
Some people need more time to cook, you know? Some people need more time in the oven to bake the buns, you know?
Do not linger. The targeting system is our priority. Yes, my lord.
And yeah, it sounds like a lot of work, and it is, guys. Talking with people is a lot of work. But you know what else is a lot of work? Painting models. Socializing takes a lot of work. I'm sorry.
Another one dead.
Well, welcome to life. Welcome to talking to people. It's a lot of work, and it is draining. And I know that so many people in this community, in the world, they're just tired. They don't want to. They don't want to deal with these people, like, because again, it's so easy to be annoyed by this. It's so easy to dismiss
This elevator
this.
will take you up to the controls.
It's so easy to just turn someone down and just shut them down. But that's the trick. That's what the parasites want you to think. What the parasites want you to do is to just give up, to not explain it, to not talk about it, to not listen to these people. Because when someone feels ignored, it is very easy for those people that are saying this paranoid nonsense to take advantage of it. To jump on to the people that are scared. It's very easy for them. So when your male friends are expressing these concerns, don't just turn them away. Ask them why they feel that way. Why they think that. Hear them out. And then ask them, all right, can I share my experiences with you? And if they get the permission, share your experiences. Don't be derogatory. Don't talk down to them. Talk to them. And if you're not good at speaking, if you struggle with, like, your tone and everything, just state the obvious. Hey, my tone is a bit tired, or that, like, it's hard for me to express these things, because they are frustrating. And I've heard these frustrating talking points from people that are really, really bad. Not you. And excuse how I sound. Because guess what, guys? Tone means everything. Open communication, though, will very, very easily help knock this back. You will be surprised at just how communicating how you're doing, emotionally, physically, and mentally, really diffuses a situation. You would be surprised at how me and my wife talk to each other. Because we tell each other, hey, I'm tired. I'm not actually mad. I'm just tired and exhausted, and the situation does frustrate me. But I'm trying to talk as normally as possible, as calmly as possible, and my tone does not reflect that. Just saying that, oh my god. You have no idea how easily that diffuses the situation. Do I think Warhammer 3 is next? What? What are you talking about?
Reloading weapon.
Oh, hey, well. Bring you down a little bit.
I can smell you.
Hey, T-Com.
What's up? Just look up for my nap.
Talking about a lot of stuff. Like how
Oh,
best
what's up?
giving advice on how to, talk to men within the wargaming space who are genuinely, like, falling for the bullshit culture war talking points, and how, we need to get better at addressing those concerns as a community. That kind of thing, right? That's what I've been talking about for, like, the past hour?
Oh, so just continuing with the short you released earlier.
Yeah, continuing the short I released earlier.
Okay.
Because, like, I'm not doing anything. I got the painting done that I need to get done.
Oh, good for you.
It's all done. I'm done. I'm free!
For now.
For now. Until I build all those Emperor's Children and get them built.
Do you spontaneously decide you want to go to another tournament and need to finish your Emperor's Children?
Oh, yeah. By the way, Fulgrim is still sold out.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, no, I want Fulgrim. I want Lucius. No.
Okay, got it.
Also, is Bill muted? I can't hear him.
I can't hear him either. He's not muted in Discord, so...
Shit.
He just might be dealing with something.
That's fair. But yeah, like this is the stuff that I was talking about, and
Yeah.
Because I watched Steve Booth's video earlier, and it's basically like, hey, we're leaving a lot of men behind, and, like, not addressing their genuine concerns, that kind of thing. And it got me thinking, like, yeah, we're really not doing that.
And how do I put what I'm thinking into words? one of the biggest issues that leads a lot of people down that path is they don't feel their concerns or their issues are being taken seriously.
Yeah. Hence why, like, my advice is, like, listen to them.
Yeah.
And then ask if they are willing to hear it, like, your experience.
Yeah, don't immediately start, like, jumping on their back with facts and figures, because that's just gonna drive them further away from you.
Because, like, when someone is genuinely being irrational or scared, they don't give a shit about facts.
Yeah.
It's like a little kid with water. They don't give a shit if water doesn't actually hurt them. They give a shit about the scary shark that lives within the water.
The scary shark that lives in the deep end of the pool.
Exactly. They don't give a shit if the shark doesn't exist. The shark's there, dude! You can't prove it to me otherwise. And then, like, how do you point out that the shark doesn't exist? Well, you just say, like, hey, buddy, why do you think there's a shark in the water? And then you just point out the small logical things. Small logical things. Like, hey, does this look like a part? Does this look like the ocean? Does this look like a place the shark would live in? You can see into the water. Does it look like there's a shark in there?
So I have something interesting to share. Do you know how groups like the KKK recruit people?
How?
They don't come in saying like, "Oh, hey, black people, Jews, they're all bad." No. They come to you and like, "Hey, we're having a cookout this weekend. You want to come over?" In the South, you don't say no to a barbecue.
Yeah, you never say no to a barbecue in the South.
Yeah.
It's do you want community, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. They provide that community, and then they slowly start drip feeding you those ideas.
Why do you think neo-Nazis
slowly
recruit
and
from biker
slowly
gangs?
and slowly.
Why do you think neo-Nazis make
Why do you
biker gangs?
Why do you think neo-Nazis recruit from biker gangs?
Yeah.
It's like it's the same.
Or
it's
people, or I hate to say it, people getting out of the military. They're looking for that sense of community again.
Yep.
And those groups take advantage of it.
And they've also been generally,
The enemy tried to smother us.
I'm going to say, predisposed at the time to view people other than their ethnicity usually as the enemy. At that point.
Yeah, I'll be completely 100% honest, and my gut reaction most of the time to seeing people from the Middle East is enemy, because I was there for 3 fucking years.
Where like where you're having to make that life or death decision of like, is this like a person going to try to, like, there's a big reason that like a lot of British ex-service people, particularly that were in Northern Ireland in the 90s, were like, yeah, Irish person, threat.
My duty kept me busy elsewhere.
And it's taken me a long time to get out of that mindset.
That is my good fortune.
And
they prey on that.
Yep. And then something that I need everyone to understand is
Retrieve Mechanicus data.
it is easy to attack people like Arch and the Quartering, because they're genuinely scum and they're genuinely pathetic human beings. Like, Christ, pissing in your basement because your wife didn't bring you out for pizza.
I haven't heard this story.
Oh, Quartering's wife went out to get pizza. Either with her friends or by herself, I don't remember. But he got drunk, very angry about it, and he pissed in his basement.
What the fuck?
And streamed it.
I've done some. Okay, I've done some very embarrassing things drunk. I've never done that.
Let us burn Sinos.
It's easy to
What the
attack.
fuck?
It's easy to attack those people, but this is something that I hate
wishes to see you
about
Noted.
online groups. Because, like, as an example, using me as an example again, and my experience,
If you have not been issued a fire blaster for this task, then
I tried giving advice. I tried giving advice to the trans community.
you requested
And
my
am I
presence.
trans? No.
I remember this.
Yep.
I have no
Am I
complaints.
trans? No. Do not identify as trans. I'm very much a cis het white male.
I have
Very
pressing duties,
straight.
Magos.
But I support the community. I love the community, as a lot of people can see. My community is safe for
Locate
them.
your desired war gear,
And my
and
heavy
the
bolt
armoring
rifle.
station will handle the outfitting procedure. Though much has changed since we last met, all this will remain familiar to you. The Omnisire blessed us with clear-sightedness from the beginning. We offer blessings to this machine, that it may serve you just as it serves him.
And I was attacked because
The
how
world
dare I
seems
speak?
incomplete.
How dare I give advice? Actual useful advice that was given to me by fellow trans people, by the way.
Current mission.
How dare I give the same advice to
thanks,
people
Magos.
that my trans friends gave me? How dare? We really need to start curtailing those fucking reactionaries and those useless fucking eggheads. We really do.
Brother Titus,
Because they don't help. They are the best fucking ammo that the parasites use against rational thinking.
I am of clear mind and purpose.
Because when someone is met with anger and derision and, like, attacks like that, do you think they act rationally? No, they're under attack!
But for now, duty calls.
It's one of the reasons why I've stopped trying to tell people, like, stop trying to convince people that the Marines are not going into Los Angeles to invade. We've done it before. Hugely successful, actually. No, like, we're not going there to enforce the law. We're going there to, number one, protect federal buildings, which we don't need Congress's approval to do that. All federal troops can do that. And number two, help relieve and do, like, a lot of the more simple jobs the police are doing so that they are freed up to help deal with a lot more of the more rowdy protesters. Because remember, Los Angeles is huge. They have, like, what, 7 million people?
More than that, I think.
Yeah,
They have like
7, 8.
They have like one of the largest police forces in the world, and it's over like 3 years, and there's like 3 of them. Like there's like 3 of like the largest law enforcement organizations in the world. In that sense.
New York still has more. New York has 30,000 officers.
Yeah, but no, I'm not talking LAPD. I'm also talking LA County Sheriff's Department and.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
But yeah, they're still being overwhelmed, even though they are the largest, with the amount of calls, because people are taking advantage of the protests. You know, they're looting, they're doing, you know,
Yeah,
right
bad
things.
Bad actors doing bad actor things.
Yeah, and they need help dealing with the bad actors, and that's what the Marines are going to be doing, is relieving a lot of police so that they can go deal with that stuff.
Now, by the way,
It's what we did in '92. It's what we're doing now.
By the way, chat, the legal challenges to that kind of stuff, it's a lot more complicated than that, but essentially is that
Oh yeah.
Trump didn't have the authority, and California did not fucking ask.
You are making good time.
They
Didn't ask for the National Guard. That's the issue. He was free to send in the Marines. They're, as much as people hate it, he has the power to do that.
Yeah. And is it right? No. But
He was not free to just federalize the National Guard and send them in. There's precedent for that, and that precedent was not met.
the last piece of advice that I can also give to everybody
This is the work of a lictor.
being right matters. The truth does matter as much as these people, as much as it fucking feels like it doesn't. Having the correct information and being more right about something means a hell of a lot more. Like, in the wargaming community, being more right about a rule matters a lot more in a competitive sense.
Yeah.
Changing magazine.
You're also just not gonna. Sort of the sad thing is you can do all the right things and you might not succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Know when to cut your losses and move on.
Yeah. If someone
And that is what it is. Is you need to actually just be like, do I wish to still have some degree of a personal relationship with this person?
Yeah, there is.
No.
There is a sense. You also do need to keep in track of your own mental health and your own emotional well-being, because guys, I have talked to hundreds of thousands of people over the years that I've been doing this. There are just some people that are not worth it, because they're either way too far down the rabbit hole, where it's like, nah, it's between you and whatever deity you believe in, or like, you know, they're being disingenuous little shits, and there's no point. I have had to ban people from the server many a times because of those, like, key factors. Like, they aren't listening because they're either just being a little shit, or they're not listening because they're so lost in La La Land, you can't break through. It's just best to push on past them, because you're not breaking the well there.
The amount of effort it's gonna take is not worth it.
Yeah.
Tunis wants to know what your tournament list is.
My tournament list? I'll go over it in a minute. But yeah, like, this is the best advice I can give. Just be rational, be calm. If they start getting mad, don't match that energy. Don't match their energy.
Also, be understanding.
Be understanding. I have gotten so farther by understanding the people I'm talking to than not.
Oh, what's his name? I am completely blanking on his name, but he wrote a book on it. African American activist leader. Wrote a book
called the KKK guy.
Yeah, he wrote a book about, you know, getting people out of those mindsets, and it's to sum up, an amazing book that I highly recommend. I need to find the name of it. It basically comes down to understand where they're coming from. Try to understand what led them down that route to begin with. Because like with the leader of the KKK, he had never actually met an African American before. He had never actually sat down and had a conversation with one before. And once he had, he gave up. He stopped being a member of the KKK.
Something else that I want to point out to everybody. We have grown up with phones and technology. Ron Stalwart, I think? Yeah, maybe? But we have grown up with technology. I am a part of the generation that grew up as the iPad and everything was becoming commonplace in the household, where the internet was not like this brand new thing. Like, I had a computer in my household. We had internet since, like, I could remember. Because, like, my mom and dad's jobs required it at that point to do, like, email and government and, like, work for, like, wireline and other things. My mom had, like, a lot of jobs back in the day. I don't remember, like, everything she worked for, but it required an email. And I want people to understand just how much of a dramatic shift it was news-wise. How we are inundated and flooded every day with 40 atrocities and, like, just
That's the start of the 24-hour news cycle.
Yep. How all this stuff happened. Really think about, like, how fast we got technology. TVs didn't become a commonplace in the household till about, like, the 60s. That was 80 years ago. Wait, was it 80 years ago? I'm bad at math. No, it would be 60 years ago. 'Cause we're
60 years ago.
Yeah. That was only 60 years ago. That was a person ago. A person.
Yeah. Still within living memory.
Still within living memory. We have people who are still alive today that remember when they had to have fucking candles light their desks. We still have people like that.
A great example. There was an American Civil War veteran who lived to see us landing on the fucking moon.
That's insane. Someone who was loading fucking muskets got to see us launch essentially a missile into space.
We can cut through this bunker. Gather by the
And survive.
And survive. A man who, back in the day, lived in a time where they believed bad air was a thing. That bad air is what caused sickness. Really, really think about that, chat. And
Your
now,
vibes were off, and that's why you have mental illness.
Your vibes were off.
small arms fire.
No, you get taken by the fairies. But seriously, that's not even.
I know.
Actually, I came across a really good medical paper that autism is what caused people to believe in the fairy myths.
Yep. Yeah, because some research out of autism basically lines up with a lot of the stories that we have.
Yep. It's really interesting paper. I liked it.
Either way, the point that we're trying to make here is that these things, these people, we are not used as a species, as a group of people, to see all this bullshit every day, day in and day out. And because we are so inundated by our community. We trust our communities. We trust our neighbors. As much as that's hard to believe nowadays. We trust our neighbors in everything. And it is
My
so
parents would leave the house and not lock the door.
Yeah. No, that wasn't just a Canadian thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was an American thing too.
Yeah, my dad was in the Middle East. That actually did not happen here.
Acadians did themselves proud. They died honorably. Our own duty is not yet done.
You locked the effing door when you left.
But yeah, it's just.
We wonder why people are so easily tricked. It's because these older people are talking to their friends, and they're believing what their friends tell them, even though the reality is the opposite of what their friends are telling them.
And it's even scarier to me now because of AI. Like, a year or two ago, it was super easy to spot AI content. You're like, oh, haha, it's AI, whatever. But now, it's getting good.
Funny thing, Universal and Disney are now suing AI corporations.
They're suing Midjourney specifically.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm like, good. Start the precedent. But no, do I trust that Disney and Universal are going to be 100% genuine with this? No, but
no.
No, they're doing it to increase their own profit margins.
They are.
Let's be honest here.
They are. They're not arguing on a moral standpoint. Don't confuse it. But it's good that they are starting this shit. But off this depressing topic now, because I know like a lot of you are tired. You're not wanting to hear this. You're wanting to see the funny mole man be the funny mole man. Starting off with, what do I think of the Emperor's Children faction? You know what? I can't do this during a boss fight.
Fight the Lictor while you do it.
No.
Come on.
No.
God, the Lictor fight's so good though.
It is. It is.
Do you need both hands when you're thinking about Emperor's Children? Is that what you're saying?
I need an extra hand.
Listen, I had a lot to deal with yesterday. I played Guilty as Sock with the Collab Den, and I need everyone to remember that the Collab Den is a bunch of artists. So I was just like standing there throwing paper as like a witness, because I was sitting in the witness, and I couldn't really do much. I was just sitting there doing nothing, and I was just throwing paper, right? And Penken Arts, famous on this channel for saying, and I quote, how do Spartans take a piss?
Catheter.
They shove a catheter up your dick. I hate this fucking game. Famous for that on the channel. He said, "Why are you coming, paper?" And then the next thing I know, one of our fellow artist friends is drawing AG coming paper. Didn't need that in my mind, but here we are.
Just sheets and sheets.
Sheets and sheets.
Oh, it sounds so painful.
Oh, so much GSM. Just say it fast enough.
All right, so my opinions on Emperor's Children. I liked them. I like the new designs. I like all the new stuff they got. It's good shit. 3 major complaints. 1, the army feels like it's overtuned. What does that mean? Their army ability, the Emperor's Children army ability, is that they can advance and charge and shoot. That's their army ability. However, there's caveats to it. They cannot shoot at a unit. If they do charge in, they can also fall back and charge into combat. If they do advance and and they're shooting, they cannot, if one unit shoots at one target, every other unit cannot choose that same target if they advanced. If they pull out of combat, they cannot charge into the same unit that they fell back from. That's the caveats that we have to deal with as an army. Which, since that's my first major complaint, my complaint is that, okay, I get the limiter. I get why this feels like it got capped in the needs. Because every other army, if they have a more aggressive detachment, 1 page. I have not paid 1-page rules, so I don't get an opinion on it. Would I like to try? Yes, if someone would invite me to try. I would love to. But I don't have an opinion on 1-page rules. And until I play it, I don't get an opinion on it. In every other army that has a stratagem that allows them to fall back and charge and or shoot, that's a stratagem. That's a 1 command point ability, and it's on specific units. My army has that for the army that I'm bringing to the tournament. We can fall back, still shoot, and charge, but it's limited down to rubrics only. So that means rubric squads and Scarab Terminator squads. Emperor's Children just get to do that normally. But you can see the problem with that. If every Emperor's Children unit in the army can do that, that can lead to a lot of bullshit combos. Which, fair is fair. I would have liked if we didn't have the caveat for the shooting problem. That you can fall out of combat and you can't shoot the same target. or if like you advance and charge your army units that advanced in your units that advanced can't target the same units. I hate that. Because
I'd like to see a change to the rule saying like you have to charge the closest unit.
Either charge the closest
attack
unit or shoot the closest unit. I would like that.
Yeah.
I would like that very much more.
You know, give them a little restriction.
Yeah. The argument is flavor, of course, that like, oh, the Emperor's children just have like ADHD, so they're just you're boring me, I'm leaving. And I'm like, okay. Fluff-wise, good.
Yeah.
Gameplay-wise, that's annoying as shit. There are better ways to convey that than this. I'm gonna go into my tabletop sim and show people what I'm bringing for the army. But so second major complaint are detachments. Our detachments right now are not the best. Let's put it this way. Our two best detachments are the one that allows us to reroll advance rolls, and the one that is basically the Chaos Space Marines Red Corsair detachment. I.e. transports. Those are our best two detachments. And why are those our two best detachments? Because they benefit our army rule and help, you know, the very limited amount of units that we have. Which then gets into the major problem of, well, the major complaint about the Emperor's Children army is that we have 18 goddamn data sheets. Thousand Sons, World Eaters, and Death Guard beat us out heavily. And we only have 18 data sheets because we added in Demons of Slaanesh.
Yeah.
When half of our book is not even Emperor's Children, it's Demons of Slaanesh, we have fucked up somewhere.
It's Demons of Slaanesh that you can only field in one detachment, which is also just bad. Like it's, I don't mean detachments bad, I mean like that as a concept for including, I 100% approve of including the demons and having like a demon focused detachment. Yes, absolutely, let's do that. But you should be able to take the demons in every army. Like you should. Maybe it's only 25%. Maybe you can only take 25% in the non-demonic detachment, and it's 50% in the demonic detachment. Don't have a problem with that.
Yep. And the demons should be able to benefit from the army's rule.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem that Thousand Sons are having right now, is that everyone was like, oh my god, Kairos Fate Lever and Magnus in the same army now? Ooh. Demons don't get to use the Thousand Sons army ability unless there is a Thousand Sons unit parked right beside them.
Mm-hmm.
Which then means I have units babysitting each other and not doing anything.
Yeah. They aren't advancing your objectives.
Which sucks.
You have to play the objectives as Thousand Sons, or you're going to lose.
And allow me to put it this way for Emperor's Children. You need the Emperor's Children detachment that allows you to bring demons. It feels like a crutch. The detachment ability feels like a crutch for demons. Because if demons are parked beside an Emperor's Children unit, demons get rerolls. Same with the Emperor's Children. They both get rerolls. If they're not, you just don't get the ability. So all your opponent needs to do is just kill the very weak, very easily killable demon units, and your Emperor's Children are fucked. Sorry. It sucks. Because I want to point out the actual units that we get as Emperor's Children, minus demons. Fulgrim, Lucius, our own individual Chaos Lord, a Sorcerer, a Lord Cacophonist, Tormentor squads and Excruciator squads. Exalted Blades. Terminators. Except our Terminators are nerfed. We can only bring 5 men. We can't have 10 men. Like every other army can. And Noise Marines. Sorry, drop the Terminators as our unique units. 9. We have 9. We don't get Cultists. We don't get Predators. We don't get Vindicators. We don't get Defilers. We don't get Forge Fiends. We don't get, what are they called? Venom Crawlers. We don't get Bikes. No bikes in an Emperor's Children army? Are you high?
That was like a big part of the Horus Heresy.
No Havoc squads? No Obliterators?
I mean, like, okay, not having the Havoc squads, I understand, because they have the Noise Marines. That's like they take the place of the Havocs.
Yeah.
But like the book mentions them having Predators.
Where are our Predator tanks, GW?
The book mentions them having Forge Fiends, like having their own type of Forge Fiends.
Yeah, the Death in the End specifically mentions how many biker squads they had. They're just running around, tearing fucking shit up.
Like, I genuinely believe bikes will get an update next edition for.
I hope they do.
I hope they fucking do, because modern.
Because they're the oldest like unit in the Chaos line, I think, other than the Land Raider.
Yeah, I think they're even older than the Land Raider now.
Land Raider is like
2098. I thought it was 2000.
Yeah, it's 98. No, the core, it got an update, but like the Chaos one didn't. The Marine one did, because he got the other types.
Right, yeah, the Redeemer and the Crusader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just an addition.
Chaos
Which is just an addition.
is just stuck with the regular.
Which is just an additional sprue. Like, it's just a.
Yeah. So chat, like, where the fuck are my tanks? This was not a hard thing to do. Now, and this is the problem that, like, I have these complaints, but I also see the potential issue. Right now, when you look at current tournament lists that are going to the Opens for World Eaters, Thousand Suns, Death Guard. World Eaters and Thousand Suns, we're heavily running Forge Fiends and Predator tanks. We're heavily running them. Now, imagine Emperor's Children being able to advance and shoot Forge Fiends. The main scary thing about World Eaters Forge Fiends right now is Blast and Rapid Fire 1. For those that don't know, if your unit contains 5 or more models, for every 5 models in that unit, you get to add 1 to your D6 roll or D3 roll. Rapid Fire is that if you're within half range, you get to add 1 to the amount of shots. Or Rapid Fire, whatever. Hi, Sarah. Also, Cat Cameo, coming in.
You get to roll an additional dice.
Yeah, you get to roll an additional dice. So, World Eaters right now, they run 3 Forge Fiends, either with the Ectoplasma variant or the Hades Autocannon variant. And, yeah, hope you aren't running mass blobs, because they're about to get mulched. Because those Forge Fiends are getting D3 plus 1 or 2, plus 1, per shot. Like, per D3. And they get 3D3 with their Ecto Cannons at strength 10, AP minus 3, damage 3. And they only have to be within 18 inches to be within half, with full rerolls towards the nearest enemy unit. Yes, hi. Hi, you to be on camera. Look at you. Look at you. So proud, so majestic. Yes, you are, even though you stole my socks. Steal my socks. Stop stealing them. And I can imagine that the game designers did not want Emperor's Children to pop off just as hard, if not harder, than Leagues of Votann did back in back in 9th edition. Because there is a very genuine problem whenever we introduce a new army or unit within Warhammer 40k, that unit starts sweeping very easily. And I can see why they wanted to avoid that. The problem becomes, well, my army sucks compared to everyone else. Like, our best unit is Noise Marines. Our best strategy is take Lucius and a Demon Prince of Slaanesh without wings, because if you park them beside each other, you can't shoot them until they're inside 18 inches. That is some bullshit. So, like, the lists are, you take 3 Noise Marine units, give them Sonic Blasters, well, give them, like, their upgraded guns, lord them up with 3 Lord Cacophonists, then put them in Rhinos, because Rhinos have firing decks, so now those Rhinos are las cannons, or las cannon Razorbacks at the end of the day, with assault vehicle keyword, with the assault vehicle ability, meaning that they can unload and still shoot. And then you just have, like, tons of infantry running around, like, holding on to objectives and shit. While Lucius and the Demon Prince are murdering all the tanks and monsters, because that's all you got. Don't even bother taking Exalted Blades. They suck ass. Their ability is shitty. They're supposed to be the answer to Apebound, but their main ability is, if you offer up to the dark beings, you get to... Rolls of 3 always count as critical. So they always count as, like, you roll a 3, you've effectively rolled a 6. Cool. Does their melee support that? No. Their melee is 3 attacks each at strength 6, AP -2, damage 2. For units that are 3-man minimum, 6-man max. Oh, and if you don't kill
I was gonna say, do they actually have any stratagems that, like, give them, like, death wounds?
Nope. Lucius, the only character that can join them, does nothing for them.
I actually like his design.
I do like his design. I like that. I get that. Like, I get that Lucius doesn't do anything for them. I like that Lucius is that much of an arrogant prick. That, like, he's a character in Monster Hunter. He's a glory-seeking asshole. I like that. And I like that he is lone op. But we should have been able to have we should have had, like, the regular Chaos Lord be able to join them. He would have helped.
The Lord Exalted.
Yeah, the Lord Exalted, because he gives them Lance.
Yeah. So I have a theory about their army list.
Oh.
And why it is the way it is. I think it is a combination of 2 things. So we don't know the order in which things got designed, because they do not get designed in the order they come out. We know that.
Yep.
We know that from basically people within the company have straight up said, these armies do not get designed in a linear fashion. They get designed in blocks, and then the actual, like, release order is, like, a different department. So I think, and this is my tinfoil theory, that they were designed very early into the design of armies for 10th edition. Additionally, I think when they were eventually pushed back in terms of the timeline of when they were going to come out, I think someone looked at them and looked at what they'd done to the other Chaos Legions and went, well, we should do that as well. And then someone else, who was from a financial department, went, well, you see, the thing is, we have to pay this amount of money to create these brand new molds to make these new units. And if we put all the existing models in, the ones that we've already paid off the molds for and are basically free for us to produce, it means these molds don't pay for themselves as quickly because less people need to buy all of these new models in order to finish their army. They can purchase models that we don't need to make money on at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think there's a genuine argument that the reason that Predators, etc., are not in the Emperor's Children army list is because it forces you to buy the new Emperor's Children units to go into your army. And therefore, those molds pay themselves off quicker, and Games Workshop makes a greater return, and yeah.
Yeah,
shareholder value, etc., etc.
No, don't go up there. You're not allowed up there. Not while I'm streaming, baby.
Also, just that makes more sense from a financial perspective because why put in the money to develop something new when you already have something?
Yeah.
It
is entirely possible
sense.
it is entirely possible that they get those units next edition, or that the Chaos Tanks in general get a revision or something like that. I don't think they're going to, because I think 11th edition, the gaps I see in army lists are, I think 11th edition is going to be the fast attack edition, whereas this has been the elites edition. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like all the Marines have been getting their elite units, especially their Terminators. Like everyone's been getting what in the old days would have been an elite's choice. Whereas I think the only thing that's sort of like the glare, because you've got to look at the Space Marine list, and it's like the only thing is like a glaring like where's the rest of it GW is like in that fast attack. Like, where's the multi-part Outrider kit? Like
what they could also be doing is they removed it because, as you said, they might be planning on a refresh, and they want this conversation to happen because that's going to make people want it more. So that when they do release it, more people are going to buy it because they've been having this exact same fucking conversation.
Yeah, the thing that I would say is I think the idea that they would have removed it for army balance reasons, I don't buy that with the way GW designs things. I think it is legitimately they make models and then they invent rules for them. They don't do it the other way around. They don't like the models always come first.
Yep.
And then they force it into the army. Think like Thousand Sons having dreadnoughts. Or having Hellbrutes rather, not dreadnoughts. Like,
which just goes to our conversation yesterday. I want fucking dreadnoughts back, for the love of God, please.
Or give me Legion themed Hellbrutes. New Hellbrute kit, and you can build it like in the style of the other 4 legions as well.
I would like that.
Like it can have a sonic weapon. It can go in an Emperor's Children army. It can basically be a Brutalis dreadnought and go into like World Eater's army.
Siege Hellbrute.
Yeah. Or like you've got like a psychic version, or like a giant flame, like psychic flame storm one or something that can go in a Thousand Suns, and like one that maybe is like spewing like toxic stuff for Death Guard. And it's just variants on like a core updated. You can call it Hellbrute if you need to not call it a dreadnought for whatever reason. But like, just do that.
So the program keeps fucking up and keeps dropping my fucking forge fiends through the game. But here, chat. Here's the army. there's supposed to be 2 forge beans here. Ignore the empty space that is driving me nuts. So I'll go through the army and I'll talk about what the strategy is with them. So, Thousand Suns, the new army ability is that we got the psychic phase back. Except the psychic phase happens in the shooting phase, and we only get 4 abilities. Those 4 abilities can be summed up as get reroll hit rolls of 1, movement, pick a unit, give them d6 inches. If you do that though, they can't charge the turn you do that. So it's more of a repositioning or getting closer kind of a thing to pop off abilities. Doombolt does what it has always done, D3 plus D3 mortal wounds. And the last one is pick an enemy unit. Any shots going against that unit get +1 AP. Of course, you can roll an additional D6 at the cost of taking D3 mortal wounds if you roll triples or doubles. This happened. You roll the additional D6. It does not have to be at the start of the roll. You can choose to add it in.
Which means it's never going to come up if you roll doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, actually, maybe not. Like, you might roll... No, I guess you could roll, like, a double 1, and then you roll another d6 to try to actually still cast the spell, and just accept that you're going to take the mortals. Okay.
This army is meant to do that. This army is meant to accept,
Yeah.
I'm taking mortals. Who cares?
Yeah.
Because it's D3. It's D3 mortal wounds. Who fucking cares? Especially a Thousand Suns army designed like this. The detachment that I'm taking is Rubrique Phalanx, i.e., hey, you want all his dust back? Yeah! Well, here it is with a condition. I get +1 armor save against unmodified damage of 1. Back then it was, I get +1 armor save, your damage is 1. Not unmodified. Now it has to be unmodified. So against armies that love damage 1, so basically armies that aren't Tau, heavy weapon space marines, Custodes, I'm going to be very fucking annoying. Especially in melee. World Eaters hate me. Wait, don't Custodes have like damage 2 weapons? In melee?
With
like
most,
guardians?
yeah.
Yeah.
The sisters have damage 1.
Yeah.
All those flamers are basically all damage 1.
People are gonna fucking hate me is what I mean here.
Oh, guards as well.
Oh, guard is gonna fucking despise my ass. But, so... That's the army abilities. First, we run Ahriman. He has to be on disc. You don't get a choice. Suck it up.
I still think that's bullshit.
But they changed him, and he's so much better now. If he's conducting a spell, he gets to add 1 to the roll. Okay. But where his true maliciousness lies is that before game begins, you can redeploy up to 3 units. Depending on if I'm not confident that I'm going to go first, I can redeploy my Forge Fiends behind line of sight blocking, so my opponent can't shoot at me. Get fucked. But there's also some other things here that I'll share in how it combos with Ahriman. They changed his sniper psychic spell, so like his 1 attack at like strength 6 changed. It's now D6 shots with blast at D6 +1. Strength 6, AP -1, damage D3. Way better than it was before. But he's not a combat character. You don't want him in melee combat. He's a nerd. He's a dork. He's gonna get fucking swirlied if he goes into melee combat. So, he hangs out in the back line with a squad of rubrics. All my rubrics are equipped the same way. Icon of Flame on the Soul Reaper cannon. And the rest of the unit has bolters. That's it. That's all they get. Exalted Sorcerer. He is attached to a unit. He can be a little bit more aggressive on being on the front line, because he gives them a 4+ invulnerable save and can revive a rubric. Or 2 rubrics. Potentially. Every turn. Very nice. We have a Demon Prince with wings. Now, why am I bringing a Demon Prince with wings? I don't have a Demon Prince that's walking. If I had a Demon Prince that was walking, I would much prefer that. But I don't have one, so we're stuck with wings. The wing guy is not bad. He's a character hunter. He wants to be hunting characters. He gets rerolls against characters. But it's his Aether Stride ability that we love to see. Aether Stride allows him to deep strike within 6 inches of an enemy unit. And his psychic attack goes from sustained hits 1 to sustained hits D3. Pretty fucking good. 9 attack, strength 4, AP -1, damage 1. Gets much better when you're hitting on 2s, and you get sustained hits D3. So you drop him into the back line, you have him kill an enemy unit in the back line, and then he's a problem that your opponent immediately has to deal with. Because all of his attacks are devastating wounds as well.
You can't drop into my back line if I don't have one.
Oh, then that's a free objective that I'm just going to go sit on.
You think I play objectives?
If we're playing custodians, you should be.
You should be.
I don't. I just go for murder everyone before the game ends.
I also gave him the enhancement of Lord of the Rubricae, which means that any rubric unit within 9 of him gets to reroll leadership checks. It's 5 points. If my Terminators are up near him, cool. Rerolling leadership. Even though my leadership across the board is 6. I shouldn't have to worry about that. Next up, as you can see, the heart of my list. 25 Terminators. Holy shit, that's a lot.
Many.
Led by a Sorcerer in Terminator armor. Chat, I will continue to say it. Thousand Suns have the best Terminator unit in the game. Bar none. And it's because the -1 to wound. If we have a Psyker in the unit, i.e. the Sorcerer Sergeant, this unit is now -1 to wound. You can never hurt me on a 2.
Yeah, but Deathwing Knights exist.
I threw these guys at Deathwing Knights. They dumpster them.
I'm biased here, but Custodians Terminators.
Yeah. This makes them extremely tanky. You give them missiles, they're now a threat to everything on the board. Like, I've had my Terminators kill Knights. That's how scary these fuckers are. And then they only get more dangerous when they have a Sorcerer as, like, a Sorcerer and Terminator armor as their leader. Because they get lethal hits. And they did change something. They did change something about the Sorcerer and Terminator armor. Before we got our Codex, Index Sorcerer and Terminator armor was you pick a unit, and everybody inside his unit gets rerolls against it. Pretty good ability. It's been changed. Now, you gotta start... Now his ability is that after his unit has fired, if he hit an enemy unit with his psychic attack, every other unit in your army gets rerolls against that target. Now, on paper, that sounds terrible. But in execution, it's great. Because it just means, hey, remember to shoot his psychic ability off somewhere else. Because remember, all your attacks can go to different targets. So long as all your attack dice are going at one target from his psychic attack, which is anti-monster, anti-vehicle 4+ with devastating wounds, everything in your army gets to reroll against that target. Which means that he's helping out the unit that he's not a part of. Because this unit doesn't get lethal. Neither does this one. Only his gets lethal. So I expect these guys to kill what they're looking at. And then his psychic ability, that he shot off to something else, helps these guys out. And then I gave him an enhancement that makes his unit +1 to hit. So all their melee, all their shooting, now hitting on 2s. With lethal. That's the good shit. That's the good stuff, chat. And of course, inside these units, there's the Inferno Combi Bolters, which have now been buffed up to Strength 4, AP -2, Damage 1. And then the Missile Racks are Strength 10, AP -2, Damage 3. And same with this unit here. It's the same loadout as this unit. But then we go to my 5-man. These guys are meant to be the middle of the board. So they push up and just chew through any small infantry unit in front of them. And then just, like, hold middle of the board while these 2 units are on their flanks. I.e., I'm going to punish you if you come near these guys. But then, the piece de résistance, the Forge Fiends. Which we have to go over here for. The Forge Fiends that I'm bringing...
piece of resistance.
The Forge Fiends that I'm bringing 2 of them. They are both loaded out the same way. Ectoplasma cannons all over. They will be backing up and be in turn defended by the massive blobs of Terminators. Because if these things get stuck in melee combat, they're not leaving. They're stuck there forever. And it sucks. And before anyone asks, well, can't you use that movement ability to get them out of combat? It is an unengaged unit you have to select. It's to stop the bullshit that we had before. Big sad. But they are Strength 10, AP -3, Damage 3 shots, D3 per, with Blast. But that alone is not why they're scary. It's their ability that pins enemy down. When a Forge Fiend shoots at an enemy unit, you can pick a unit that they shot at, and that unit, until your next turn, gets -1 to hit. So, let's say it's a Deathwing Knight unit. I fire at them. And yeah, I'm only killing like, what, 1 or 2? Because Deathwing Knights are like 4 wounds a pop. That unit's now -1 to hit. I have decreased their odds of murdering shit. And it's not -1 to shoot it. It's -1 to hit. So melee, they're taking that -1. Doesn't matter. And that speaks volumes, chat. Fucking volumes. If I hit stuff that threatens my Terminators, my Terminator's survivability just went massively up.
It does unfortunately mean that you, like all Thousand Sons players, have to engage with the darkest of arts, maths.
Yeah, we have to engage with math, and it sucks, but
Math.
that's what you get for being a nerd, right?
the true chaos power of chaos, maths.
I came to shoot shit and blow stuff up, not do math. Well, too bad, you're doing math. But chat...
Well, the army is over there.
But chat... Now you're probably wondering, okay, but how do you get board control with this army? This is a slow advancing moving army. Well, chat, you see this Exalted Sorcerer over here? I failed to mention something, and that was on purpose, because I want to reveal the cruel thing that I can do now. This Sorcerer has an enhancement on him. Doesn't benefit his unit. It benefits a Terminator unit. And why is that? Risen Rupert K. For 30 points, I can choose either 2 Rupert K squads or 1 Scarab Occult Terminator squad. And I can infiltrate them.
Which is bullshit!
Now, there is a downside to this. There is a downside. The infiltrating unit cannot have a character, because this happens before you assign characters to units. My heart aches. My heart aches. But what if we take this 10-man and just, park them behind a line of sight blocking terrain near the middle of the board, or just, on the opposite side, on an objective. I'm standing on an objective with 31 wounds at T5, 2+ save, 4+ invulnerable. Come get me, asshole.
I was gonna say, I believe the pejorative is "come at me, bro."
Come at me, bro.
I will.
And then, remember that Arimon allows me to redeploy units? I can threaten that side of the board, and then just leave. I could redeploy these 10 with the 2 Forge Fiends somewhere else. And I'm threatening anywhere that I want to threaten before the game begins. And I punish you if you come anywhere near me. So the idea is that my army is a slowly advancing V. Terminators take the front. The Rubric squad's in the back, with one squad acting as support, another one acting as support. Arimon's unit just parked on objective. They're not doing anything the whole game. Or the one squad with no leader is not doing anything. They're just hanging out in the back. While this guy is in your back line, being a funny little guy, the Terminators are basically playing mid lane. Hey, Miley! Terminators are playing mid lane. Because this army wants to be middle of the board. So we're playing for center. And we're brawling with the opponent while we're doing that. I.e., come on, I can outlast you, can you outlast me?
Find out, big boy.
Come find out, big boy. With the Forge Fiends supporting the Terminators, Terminators should always be in front of the Forge Fiends. I do not want to let my opponent ever touch these Forge Fiends. Because the second those Forge Fiends go pop, I'm in trouble. And then here comes the major downsides of my army. Yes, I am 46 models on the table. I have maximized Terminators at the cost of my Rubric squads. I have chosen to try to outlast than overwhelm. And there are reasons for this. One, I lack the models that I would want to use to enhance this strategy. Two, there was a better option for Demon Prince, the one that's walking. But guess what? All Demon Princes are sold out because it's such a good model. So I'm stuck with Flyboy. And Flyboy's good, do not get me wrong, but I would rather give all my Terminators stealth. I'd rather give the inherent -1 to hit my Terminators.
I get wanting to have the Wizzywig for the tournament, but I'm gonna say honestly, as it would be your only Demon Prince, I would let you run that as Demon Prince on foot.
You know what's funny? It's the old Demon Prince model too.
Oh, it's tiny.
Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of stuck with just Flyboy over here.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Again, he's good. He's not what I want, but he's good. It's just I have to think differently with him. I have to think about him landing in the back line and causing problems there than supporting the front line. Arimon, I wish he did a little bit more, but being able to redeploy 3 units and then just being an in general like pretty good psyker, he's pretty fucking good. Now you're probably wondering, but big boy, the biggest boy, turkey boy with nipples on his head. Why aren't you bringing him? He's your big boy. He's what did like a lot of damage for you in the other tournament that you played in. The video. Magnus is still really good. He still is. But there's a real world situation that I'm very worried about. Magnus is a really complex model. He's really big, with a lot of parts that jut out and are very fragile. And I'm going on a 4-hour drive to a location that's very public with a lot of people that I cannot guarantee his safety. That was a major factor of why I'm not bringing him. As well, Magnus does not support this army build very well. When you take Magnus, you are bringing an army that is built around Magnus. Or Magnus is built around supporting that army. This army does not like Magnus. Because they like we like our Terminators. We like our Scarabs. A Scarab Occult unit takes up about most of the same price point as a Magnus. Minus 100 points. And I'd rather just have the extra -1 to wound instead of just him. And I know, like, that's depressing to hear. You're bringing the Thousand Sons and you're not bringing Magnus. I think Arimon fits the role better. And I practice with this list. I've practiced against my competitive friends, and they say, yeah, no, this list is good. Just be focused, protect the Forge Fiends, because a lot of people are not going to have an answer to them. The answer to them is shut them the fuck up. So, like, get into melee combat with them, they can't fire. Because Forge Fiends suck in melee. They have, like, 6 attacks at strength 6, no AP, damage 1. Which is dumb. They should have AP -1. But yeah, that's the army. That is the army I am bringing to the tournament. Actually, I wanted to ask, how do you feel about the new edition of Horus Heresy and the leaks for it, if you've seen them? So I told Will this, because he shared the detachment rules with me. I have not read the new detachment rules. Because I want to focus on the tournament. I am already inundated and overloaded with information. I will read them when I am back. I'm going to be gone for 4 days, chat. 4 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to be gone. And then, when I get back, Monday, I'm just going to crash and sleep. And then the next day, I have therapy.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Oh, it's gonna suck.
Therapy after a big event like that?
Delicious. After all the bullshit that I've had to go through for like the past few weeks.
I'm gonna say, boss, this day and age as well, look at potentially scheduling yourself in some time there in case you get a bit of confunk.
Yeah, I know.
Louis.
Like I said, like the week after this week, I'm not doing anything. I'm not streaming. I'm not playing games. Worst I'm doing for work is writing a script. And that's for the tournament.
It's for you. It's you week.
It's me week. Because again, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to this tournament as a vacation. This is work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you going to enjoy yourself? Yeah, probably. But still work.
Still work. Like, I'm taking notes, chat. I'm taking pictures. I'm going to be recording stuff. This is going to be like Bricky's video kind of a thing. Like, he's, like, when he went to, like, the Las Vegas Open. But instead of Las Vegas, it's Edmonton.
That sister list.
The sister list. The candlestick.
That list pisses me off so much.
You can't do it anymore, sadly, but, like, it was a good sisters list, not gonna lie.
Well, like, because I told you I've recently played a game against that exact same list. Because like the person's like, "Hey, I really wanted to try Bricky's list." I'm like, "Yeah, go for it. Let's do it." And I got my ass handed to me.
So I'm gonna do something here.
I lost turn two.
I'm gonna do something here, and I'm gonna go over my Warhammer tournament experience, but I'm gonna get me a refill of water, and this will be the last segment of our video today. Is that like my last tournament experience?
The candlestick killed my dreadnought in a single fucking turn. You know how infuriating that is, Will?
Yep.
Especially when you've built your entire list around dreadnoughts, and then they just poof disappear.
I'm currently finishing up the base course before I go into the highlights on my Demon Prince of Corn, in fact, or World Eater's Demon Prince. This is a very fun model to paint.
Also, something that's been very much bugging me. If you can't tell, chat, my home province has been in fire season. Oh, what's fire season? Is that like everything's on fire? Everything's on fucking fire. And there's a lot of smoke. A lot of smoke. So much so that like even on a day where like it doesn't look like there's smoke, it smells like a campfire outside. I don't know how many active wildfires there are right now. Last time I checked, we had like 48% under control and 41% was out of control. Check quick here, but it's not fun, is what I'm trying to say here. It sucks. View my interactive map. 40% are out of control. It went down a percentage. Good job, firefighters. Love you guys.
Ooh.
Massive support. Love you. 7 are being held, which is great. 48% are under control. The reason why I'm getting inundated with smoke is because BC has a wildfire that jumped our provincial border. So we're just getting the smoke from that massive fire.
So it's a federal wildfire.
Yeah, pretty much. But good news is that the BC firefighters and Albertan firefighters, including my local precinct, Go Boys Go, are fighting it together. Because we have like different, we have a chart where it's like, if it's a fire is being labeled purple, it's where multiple groups are collaborating to take it out. Which is great. Actually murdering me with the fires boss, our air quality in Michigan got over 111 this week. I'd never seen it that high. I thought it was a percentage system. Jesus Christ. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Most of those fires are from BC. Because, like, BC is either it's underwater or it's fucking burning. Sorry about that.
It's British Columbia.
It's British Columbia. But if you're worried about me, don't be. Don't be alarmed. The path we're taking to Edmonton is completely safe. There's no fires anywhere near the path we're taking. Like, the closest fire is the same distance as it is from where I live to the route we're using. And it's extremely isolated. So, like, there's no risk of it. And there's no chance of that changing in 24 hours.
Yeah, the fire's not going to come after you.
Oh my god, it's chasing me!
I mean, it might. At this point, anything's on the table.
But let's go over my most successful tournament video and talk about it.
That man's playing Zinch. Get him.
For a weekend, right? He's playing Zinch. He's got fire. All right, let's go over my video here. Let's go over my video.
I always wanted to be a flamer.
Well, now you can, Timmy.
I'm gonna also share this on the Discord so you guys can see it. Watch along. Ask all the fun questions, you know?
I saw someone saying that if there are wildfires, you should put some candles in your window. Not like to show solidarity or anything, but to show that the fires that you have pet fires, and then they'll leave you alone.
I'm experienced with fires. I know how to deal with them.
All right, Rusty Boys and the man with nipples on his head. So now that my army's ready, let's get into the games. So this was a locals that I played in, and this was a one-day event. Round 1 was against Necrons, and ooh boy, this list was meant to be a pain in my ass.
The best kind of
I was going up against the Silent King, the guy who rules over all the Necrons. There's a video about him out now. The reason why I have to bite their shiny metal asses. The Nightbringer, which is every metal band's album cover personified, a goddamn Tesseract Vault, 2 Destroyers, some Flayed Ones, a Hexmark Destroyer, 2 Doomsday Arcs, a team of Death Marks, a Triarch Stalker, and the bane of my fucking existence, a goddamn Tomb Spider!
It's the most interesting piece of ongoing 40k plot at the moment that isn't going to go anywhere.
Oof. So, for those that don't know, why I'm so angry about the Tomb Spider in this battle, this was before Thousand Suns got their codex, by the way. Tomb Spiders give feel no pain against psychic attacks, or attacks that cause, like, yeah, anything that's psychic attacks, they give a 4+ feel no pain. It's bullshit, and I hate it. Which was an uphill battle for my Thousand Suns during this game. It was pretty beefy. And even worse, my opponent chose the Hyperphase detachment, which means at the end of my turn, they can pick up to 3 units and teleport them anywhere on the board, following regular deep strike rules. Not only that, but he has tons of abilities to ignore negative modifiers.
I said it's because competitive players are cowards.
They're cowards?
Oh.
Yeah.
Them's fighting
One of the bad attachments. Game of skill.
I'm not a competitive player, but
game of skill. Get better.
Learn to use the bad detachments, you fucking cowards. Modifiers to his stats thanks to the Silent King. His whole army is able to soak up tons of damage in that goddamn. Yeah, so sorry, it gives a feel no pain for vehicles within 6 inches, but if it's mortal wounds or psychic attacks, it gives a 5+ feel no pain. I like fucking up his day. I hate this thing. I hate this thing so much. I make arguments that auras should be blocked by walls because of this thing. Will it hinder me and my armies? Yes, but if it means that people can't fucking hide annoying 1 model units like this, yeah, fuck you, I'm taking it. I'm taking that hit if you take it with me. Gives him feel no pain saves against my psychic attacks. And he also has a lot of artillery, and you can't meaning that he can hang back and shoot me confidently while I have very little to respond with. I also got scared that Magnus wouldn't survive a round of shooting from all that, so I placed him in reserve with my Terminators. This fucking as well, sucks! Due to the amount of large things he was bringing, I chose Assassinate, and also, just to let you all know, yes, in this video, I am using, like, older versions of the Leviathan pack cards, because that was what was available to me, and, like, they're still, in general, the same kind of thing. But you do what you can. Bring it down for my secondaries. The first turn began, and it was
also... I'm looking forward to using the chapter approved ones.
Because they don't have pictures of them, right? So it was very hard to find them. I found a way to get those. I found a way to get it. I found a way to get them later, though.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to using the chapter approved missions. They look fun.
Also, one thing that has made these videos very easy, like, much easier to edit and everything, I love that we have the deployments and everything with, like, terrain. It made it so much easier to remember where everything was. Oh, so easy. Rough. Arimar and his unit of Rubrics took a full bombardment from the Tesseract Vault, but on my turn, my Infernal Master and his squad were able to wipe out his Flayed Ones, who he had
Can I make one
infiltrated
point
deep
about
into...
that for the tournament players that are that maybe still listening and don't completely hate me?
Sure.
Guys, when you're not in a tournament, You're allowed to just place terrain.
Yeah, you're allowed to just have fun. Like, I'm gonna be running a Horus Heresy narrative event, and I'm not gonna. I'm gonna tell people just place terrain however you want. Make it as tight or as loose as you want. I don't give a shit. Whatever is thematic and fun to you guys, do it. But in this instance, for those that don't know, gray rectangles, they count as terrain terrain that is more than 4 inches tall. Blue terrain counts as terrain that's like 2 inches or lower. You can't see past any of it, by the way. My line to secure the objective within it. Turn 2 came around, and although Arimon's bodyguard unit was fully destroyed, leaving the guy alone on my home objective, it was a lot more hopeful for me. Magnus and all my Terminators came down from reserves, but problems began to surface as my opponent had set up his army. Yeah, this is a major problem that, like, anybody in playing competitive, this is something they have to... Wait, you can't see over 4 inches. Announcer cannon high 3 inches confirmed. AG, canonically, AG is like 3 foot tall. So, like, yeah, AG can't see over, like, a lot of things. Like, he has to sit, like, canonically on the bar, he has, like, a raised platform that he stands on. But, in competitive, and this is something to keep in mind, too, if you just, like, want to play games, but you also want to stop your opponent from deep striking behind you, you have to stay outside of 9 inches unless stated otherwise. So, deploy your army in such a way where it's very hard to get into your back line. So I couldn't get. Why can't you see over 4 inch tall terrain? Because it's the difference between a what's the word I'm looking for here? It's the difference between like a bunker and a building, like a full-on like office building. That's the difference here. So you can move through the bunker, but you can't move over the building. But if, like, I'm standing on one side of the bunker and you're standing on the other side and we're both not inside of it, we can't see each other. That's the thing here. I have never seen a 4 inch tall building. Meaning that Magnus and my Terminators were staring down the barrel of a goddamn Death Star laser. Though, luckily, I was able to kill one of the Doomsday Arcs. Everyone else failed to do their damn jobs. My Terminators failed to get into melee combat, and although Magnus was able to charge... Oh, this was so frustrating. I remember this. So, as you can see here, my Terminators, I wanted to charge the Silent King. I wanted to hurt him as much as possible. I also wanted to charge this Triarch Stalker. They rolled a 6, so they couldn't get to him, and they rolled a goddamn 2. And then I re-rolled it into a 3. I hate when that happens. Tesseract Vault, the Nightbringer, took personal offense to that and proceeded to hand Magnus his shit. Now, to most people, losing Magnus and seeing the Necrons recover from some of the... in most cases, by the way, chat, in a tournament situation like this, where the Silent King is in your front line with the Nightbringer, a Tesseract Vault over here, a Triarch Stalker here, and a Doomsday Arc right here, a lot of people would probably just give up. But you don't see it on the table here. Arimon's still standing right here. I have a Lord Infernus and a Rubric Squad here. And my 2 Terminator blobs are still relatively unmolested. And I don't bring it up, but I destroyed the destroyers over here, and I just ignored this side of the board. Because my job wasn't to, like, capture objectives. I made it so that way I was murdering big shit. I was scoring points by murdering his big stuff. So I needed to go murder the big stuff. Damage or I was in trouble. Would usually call that game. But I still had my Terminators, who were proving to be way more annoying to kill than my opponent thought they would be. Not only did they take bombardments comes in so fucking handy, and all his other heavy hitters, but my big beefy boys were distracting him from completing objectives. So I pushed up, and my Terminators not only toughed out the worst damage, but they were dealing some pretty hefty damage back. However, the game came down to my Terminators fighting both the Silent King and Nightbringer. As well, he had his snipers kill Arimon and take my home objective. But I was able to get my Infernal Master back to contest it against the snipers. But again, it came down to if I could kill the Silent King. Going into Psychic Phase and shooting, my Sorcerer and Terminator armor opened up on him with a Doom Bolt. We spiked that 6 on the die, dealing D3 plus 6 mortal wounds, and we killed him. But to my shock and surprise, the Silent King has deadly demise, meaning that when he dies, he has the potential to explode. And my opponent rolls a 6, causing the Silent King to explode. He kills the last bit of my Sorcerer's Terminator bodyguards, but he also kills his own Hexmark, critically injures the Nightbringer, and kills his own Tombspider, which then allows my other Terminator unit to kill the Nightbringer, who also explodes, and his explosion kills the 5 snipers contesting my home objective. With this chat, 2 6s going off. That is a once-in-a-lifetime roll. I'm never gonna be that fucking lucky again. That was a game-winning event. Because
Watch you do it first roll at the tournament.
Because without the Silent... Like, his Silent King was gone. He had nothing to threaten the Terminators that were in the center of the board anymore. That Tesseract Vault was still alive, but it couldn't really do anything. And we were already in turn 5. And that was a massive bump to my score by killing both the Nightbringer and the Silent King and the Hexmark Destroyer. Because that was multiple characters dead. Because I was also scoring off of character kills. So I had Assassinate and Bring It Down. Chain of explosions and kills, as well as being the final turn of the game, I scored 44 points to my opponent. Like, I jumped up massively with that. I got 11 more points than he did. Opponent's 33. A very tough and hard game all the way through. That damn Tombspider let a lot of his army survive, some of the worst punishment I could dish out, and really the only reason I won was because of those 2 explosions. If that didn't happen, I would have lost. But I won, and I went on to round 2. Ah, the classic. I know I'm going to be seeing Space Wolves at the tournament. I know for a fact that I am.
Oh, yeah.
Round 2 was against the Space
New Army
Wolves,
as well.
the
Like,
Thousand Sons arch rivals, and the goddamn
A
furry
bunch of
convention
people are
that...
gonna be like, yeah, running this.
I love this joke. Trauma in a box for only $250. By the way, best Horus Heresy box at the time.
Prospero? Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if you wanted a Horus Heresy army, this was, like, the best box to get. Because you got, like, 5 Custodes, 5 Sisters of Silence, and lots of Marines. The other one, I argue, is also Mark of Calth.
I mean, you also got, Plastic Bjorn the Fell-Handed and Plastic Iron Man.
I don't think that's Bjorn. I think it was someone else.
Oh, it's Gregor the Fell-Handed, isn't it? Like,
I think it might be. But you did get Ahriman, and I think Ahriman, 30k Ahriman looks so good. Fuck, I love that.
I know so many people that just run 30k Iron Man as a Thousand Sons 40k Sorcerer.
He looks so good in either form. I love them both.
Mm-hmm.
Burned a Thousand Sons homeworld of Prospero to the ground. Even worse, this guy was packing the Lightning Assault detachment, which allows his Space Wolves to charge even if they advanced or fell back. His list contained Bjorn the Fell-Handed, streaming early. We're streaming during the day today because I'm leaving tomorrow. Several Wolfguard battle leaders, with 2 of them on Thunderwolves and walking 2 units on Thunderwolves. So a major downside about Space Wolves is that they really love to run characters, which makes them extremely vulnerable to the assassination scoring card. The assassination objective. Yeah. There we go. Another thing is that, like, I know they're going to be running swarms, so, like, Cull the Horde is also going to be very good against them. Wolf Cavalry, 2 Incursor squads, a Fenrisian Wolf Pack, Wolfguard Terminators, and goddamn Knight Castellan! But I had my dignity on the line as a Thousand Sons player. No so I could not back down. I kept my Terminators in Deep Strike, but I deployed.
They keep pissing on my goddamn rug.
Oh, this was another thing. So I don't think I brought it up for this objective, for this mission, but I again chose Assassinate, and I chose Engage on all fronts. Which, if you don't know, 40k tables are divided into 4 quarters, so like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sometimes 5.
Engage on all fronts rewards you for having units in 3 quarters, and then rewards you even more if you have units in all corners. So, yeah. I chose that one because he didn't have anything that was bring it down worthy. And 1 Titan isn't enough for bring it down. So I chose to just deploy stuff into corners. Deployed Magnus properly this time. As well, thanks to the tournament rules, buildings can block line of sight, meaning that as long as I kept Magnus out of sight of that Knight Castellan, I wouldn't have to worry about it that much. As well, for my secondaries, I chose Assassinate
Holy
again.
hell, that's a lot of free
A ton
points.
of hero units on the board, and Engage on all
I
fronts,
did bring it up.
which scores 2 to 6 points per turn if I have units in 3 or 4 table quarters of the board. The game begins with me going first, and Magnus quickly zooms up the field, drops some spells, does some damage to Bjorn, and I fucked up here. And the comment section pointed it out. So, what happens here is that I move Magnus up the board. I then shoot. And then I use a Cabal ritual to make him move again. To hide him behind terrain. I wasn't able to do that. I misread it. The timing was key because you only use temporal manipulation at the end of your movement phase. I missed that key wording. So I technically cheated here. No, I straight up fucked up. Cursor Squad. I am not supposed to be able to do this. Magnus should have taken that full Castellan to the face. So that the Knight Castellan couldn't respond. Then it was the Space Wolf's turn, and he directed all of his Thunderwolves to hunt down Magnus. And since he could advance and charge, yeah, Magnus was in for it. However, due to Magnus being a beefy boy and his damage-reducing abilities, he was only able to get 5 wounds into Magnus. And Magnus responded by killing everything that the Space Wolves loved, by hacking away with extra attacks on 6s and devastating wounds, which Magnus gets naturally in melee combat. On my next turn, Magnus cleared out the first Thunderwolf unit, and my Infernal Master and his unit were able to secure an objective. I brought my Terminators in, and they started tearing into everything this man loves. But on his turn, Bjorn charged my Infernal Master's unit and wiped them out. I love that I used the charger noise for him. I love it. Holy shit, that's funny. While St. Nicholas, the old fuck, charges Magnus. And after everything is said and done, on the second turn, Magnus is on 3 wounds, and Actually, I'm gonna ask a question. How do we feel about, Logan Grimnar no longer being in the sled?
Good.
I like the sled, but at the same time, the new model is badass, so I'm not, and I like that he has both panels.
Fucking hated that goddamn sled.
Why'd you hit the sled?
It felt a bit too cartoony to me.
Yeah, that was my that was my problem too. Is that like there's silliness in 40k, and then there's like going overboard.
Yeah,
this is way too silly for me. Especially like it's not even a speeder; it's being pulled by fucking dogs.
Yeah, it's a literal dog sled.
It's dumb. I am happy that it's gone, but just to let you all know, it's in Legends. It's not gone forever. It's just in the fun part of 40k now.
Yeah.
My opponent. So for those that do like the sleds massively. However,
yeah,
turn 3 is where my army says,
as is
nah,
the
we ain't playing like that, and we start going the fuck off. Magnus murders
Oh
Logan.
god, what was that thing called? The
my Terminators proceed to not.
They're flyer. They're like boarding ram.
Oh, the Stormfang.
No, the Chaos Assault Ram.
No, well, it's yeah, but it's basically their version of it, which is the
just
the Stormfang.
Or however you pronounce it. It's Caiatus.
I miss that gunship. I miss that gunship being available to everybody.
It's fake Latin, so who can say?
Either way. not only murder Bjorn the Fell-Handed, but
I
also
want them to
kill
go back to the
Arjak's
rules
entire
where
retinue
Space Wolves
and
could take
secure an objective, while my second Terminator unit sprays down the Fenrisian Wolf Squad in the back and is joined by Magnus.
Yeah.
This turn alone,
It was real back. It was only the Exterminator they could take, so it was only the one with the autocannons. But it had Space Marine like ballistic scanner. So
Yeah.
Also, chat, I want to help you all with something like threat prioritization in a game of 40k. Because I see a lot of newcomers, especially when they're like playing for fun, they hyper focus on the big stuff. Knights, Primarchs, yeah, they're all scary, but remember that they're one model. This Knight Castellan didn't do fuck all for this guy the entire game. Because he couldn't see shit. Because I was putting stuff behind walls that he couldn't see through. So, like...
Knights might be a different problem now.
Oh, they might be a very different problem now. I haven't looked up their rules yet. I don't know what they do.
Not a lot more. They're a little bit easier to wound, but there are going to be more of them.
Oh, God, they got point decreases all over the board?
Yep.
Oh, boy. So,
and it's now a case of like 2.5 war dogs are about the same. It's an argument is 2 war dogs better than 1 big knight, and the answer is probably no.
Because 2 models is always better than 1.
Well, like the knight is very good.
The model.
So, like, imagine I'll probably see like an army of like 2 to 3 big knights and a lot of war dogs or armorers. Which I've handled that in the past. I can take it. But yeah, so like if you're playing a game of 40k, don't get tunnel vision. Just like move behind walls, and this thing is useless. He brought a 500-point model that did fuck all the entire game. Tie it up. But it was
Also,
still a
remember,
nice edge.
you can have
However,
your squads don't have to be all bunched up. You can have an inch in between each model. Use that to your advantage.
Oh yeah. Opponent's turns. His
As
army
we'll find out later
later
in life, you'll be surprised what an inch can do.
And my Terminators proved to be way too tough for the Knight Castellan to deal with
the big
normally.
scary Titan
Turn
camp wake
4,
open
Magnus
some tin
gives the Terminators in the
cans.
back line 2+ movement, which lets
My
them get to
Space
my
Wolf
opponent's
opponent
objective
found
in his
my
deployment zone,
army so
using
frustrating to
Arimon's
deal
freaking
with.
ball ability to let me use Insorel Infusion for free. I was able to melt the last of the Space Wolves and instantly murder the Knight
I mean, that is
Castellan
mostly
in
because the
shooting.
Titans
I
actually
turned 5,
suck.
I tabled the Space Wolves, and was able to score the... This was a perfect game. I got 100 points. Like, that's great. It is so hard to get 100 points in competitive 40k. Just saying. A max of 100 points at the end of the game. This game was a brutal back and forth, and my opponent, Alex, was a great sport about it. Learned a lot about fighting Space Wolves against him, and genuinely, it was an awesome time. We both had a lot of fun. And although it sucks I wasn't allowed to take pictures of the game due to privacy reasons and store rules to show you all, it was great nonetheless. But I was 2 wins in, and it was heading to the final game of the day. Oh boy, who was I fighting next? Speaking of Chaos Knights. Oh, fuck. Now, my army is fairly good at dealing with most problems, but the only real source of anti-armor was either Magnus or the missile racks on my Terminators. Chaos Knights are also a major obstacle when it comes to my army because they're based around being really big and scary and battle-shocking units. And if any of my units gets battle-shocked...
I love that I'm building up how scary these things are.
Keeping my army stable. My opponent's army had 2 War Dog Marauders, 3 War Dog Brigands, a Knight Rampager, a Knight Desecrator, who was his warlord, and a Knight Abominant, the big, mean Psychic Knight. Just gonna say this right now. I think the Knight Abominant is the coolest looking knight that Chaos Knights have. I love this stupid thing. This list is basically the list that any Chaos Knight player who wants
If
to
we're not
win
counting the
will
Forge,
bring.
if we're not counting the
Lots of
Heresy
rerolls,
ones, I
lots
agree
of
with
fear
you.
effects,
We're not
and
counting the
lots of
Heresy
just
ones.
abusing my poor asshole.
Because like they can still
But
technically
I
take
took a
the
deep breath,
the
assassinate and bring it down again.
which is the coolest
secondaries,
looking type of
and
knight.
we started the game. Oh god, right? Yeah, foreshadowing. This fucked me in the ass. This fucked me so badly. I thought he had 3 characters on the table. He has 2.
I'm gonna tell him.
Don't you dare.
I forgot about that joke where it's Erebus like, I'm gonna tell him. Oh my god. Erebus fucked me. Got the first turn, and Magnus did what he
I
does
wish I
best.
could bring
Jump out, hurt something with a psychic attack,
3 characters
then yo-yo back to safety.
onto the board.
He managed to hurt a War Dog Brigand pretty thoroughly, and with line of sight blocking terrain, my opponent wasn't really able to respond aside from being able to shoot my Infernal Master unit with his Abominate, which did surprisingly nothing. Turn 2 is basically where Zinch looked upon our game and decided that he was done giving me my toughest battles, and decided that Chaos Knights deserved a good Doom Bolt to the ass. My turn leaders came in, and not only did I murder a War Dog Brigand in his deployment zone, but my Terminator unit, led by a Sorcerer and Terminator Armor, in one turn on their own, murdered the Knight Abominate. This is where my opponent... This is lethal in action, by the way. Lethal is automatic wounds on hit rolls of 6. This is 44 shots with rerolls back in the day. Like before Thousand Suns got the new book. And so I just rerolled all my hits to try and get as many auto wounds as possible. I brought this thing below half with shooting, and then I charged it and murdered it in melee. And it went, you know, I think that's the game. Losing 3 knights in 1 turn is like watching your house and car explode, with the explosion also taking out your favorite restaurant. Let's put it this way. By turn 3, I tabled him completely. Average competitive game, you're either done by turn 2 or 3. Like, Magnus only took damage from tank shocks, and from the Knight Desecrator exploding on him. My opponent failed to kill any of my units, and I was expecting to be absolutely ass blasted. But instead, I was the ass blaster. However, I did not score a total of 100 points. Because of a misunderstanding, I thought that there were 3 characters on the board, with each big knight being a character. I was wrong. Only the Knight Desecrator and Abominate were characters, and the Rampager was just some guy named fucking Steve. Fuck you, Steve. No. I want to make it very clear. My opponent did not fuck me up. I fucked myself up. I fucked myself on this one. Because I thought that Abominate was a character. I thought that guy was a character. Because it's like, oh, there's like tons of War Dogs, so he's obviously got like 3 characters, right? No, he has 2 characters, 1 regular knight. In total, and I can't be too mad because I still won. 10. Still an amazing showing on my part. My opponent was also a super cool dude, and this group wants me to go to a
I've had
tournament
like
they are
so
running in a
many
couple
like
of
tournament
months,
reports from
and
people
due to
that
that
like that.
being
It's
not
like
too far away
someone,
from me,
there's a guy who used to play at our liquor store, and I swear to God, I had a conversation with him at one point where he was just bitching about this tournament that he went to for like 20-30 minutes. Like, oh, it was this utter bullshit of this thing, and then this thing, and then this thing, and then this thing. I was like, oh, so you, like how did you do it? It's like, oh, I won. And I'm like, what are you complaining about?
2 major things I complain about this game. I fucked myself over on this one, like in my final game, and fucking Tomb Spiders. I hate them. That's it. Everything else was fun. And I didn't know I fucked up until after I posted this video. I might just go to it. But it was the end, and I was sitting pretty at 242 points. Oh, and then this final part is what bugs me, because it's so goddamn funny. Good day. Once all the games were done, we had 2 people who won all 3 of their games. Me and a Custodes player named Taylor, who beat me up by... and a Custodes player named Taylor, who beat me up by... Hey chat, what was my score in my final fucking game? 98 points. 2 points off. I fucked myself. I fucked myself out of first place. That's funny. That is fucking hilarious. And even funnier, it's Custodes that won out.
Yeah.
Like, TCOM was extremely happy to hear that.
Yes.
And again, chat, I can't be mad. I can't be mad at this. Because it came from a genuine misunderstanding on my part. And B, how can you be mad at that point difference? Yeah, sure, I didn't come first. I came second. But only by this point difference. That's fucking funny. That's amazing.
You got what you fucking deserve.
Fuck! Nah, I wasn't mad. It was an amazing time, and second place by 2 points? That's incredible. Genuinely, local, like...
Look, it's Magnus. He is absolutely the guy that tells sons, look, you know, they have the silver podium for a reason.
Exactly, we have the silver podium for... We have silver towers for a reason, Chad. Alright. So, some final things to wrap up before I go for the day and get everything ready from my suitcase to my models. Again, nothing is coming this coming week, like the week after this week, because again, I'm going to go to a tournament. I am there for 4 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I am back the Sunday evening, which, oh boy, do not expect fuck all from me for the week after the tournament. I am going to be laid up. I will be working on the script for the tournament in that time. And then I get right back to work the next week. That means streams. That means content for all of you. That means more Battletech videos for Patreon. Also an announcement. After a year, the Battletech videos that are on the Patreon, they go from being Patreon exclusive to on YouTube. The ones that came out for that year. So they come out at the end of the year as a big compilation on YouTube.
It's a good way to do it.
But until then, all Battletech videos until I get to Battletech Fluff, which expect that to happen when I run out of mainline 40k stories. Battletech videos like that will be on Patreon exclusive. But don't worry, you're not high and dry this weekend, because I'm going to show this to you all. Need to know Arcs of Omens comes out this Saturday. This Saturday, chat. You know, the 40k storyline that ended? Oh my god! And then after that, after the tournament video, it's going to be 2 videos. 2 need to knows. Fourth War of Armageddon. Oh my god. And Horus Heresy. Because I realized in my sheer fucking hubris, I can't talk about Gathering Storm without talking about Horus's fuck up.
It's fine. It's a simple story. There's not a lot of sidelines. It's pretty direct. You can just go straight.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's straightforward, right? Straightforward, right? Insert clip of. You see, it's a pretty straightforward story, but then everything goes off the rails when you get to book 5.
Mm-hmm.
It just becomes this convoluted fucking mess.
Yeah, so, chat, I have something very big to ask you while I'm gone. Please share my shit around. On Reddit, on Facebook, on Blue Sky, any of the communities that you're in, any Discord groups that you're in, share my shit around. Share my videos with your friends that want to know about Warhammer. All of it. All of it. If you can. I very much appreciate if you do. Because you guys, I can't do this without you. I can't do this without you. And if you can, some last-minute donations to the Ko-fi, always appreciated. In the tournament video, you will be getting a fucking shout-out. Anybody who donates to the Ko-fi, you will be getting a shout-out by the end of that video. I don't care. Because I got fucked over last month by my disability. And it's because of you guys that I'm still able to go to this thing. I'm still able to go do this event. These very few opportune times in my life to go do these events. And I'm able to do it because of you guys. So if you can, please donate. You will get a shout out. But if you can't, don't stress about it. Just share my shit around. Because, hey, every little bit helps. And even you just watching the streams, watching the videos, is also a massive help. But yeah. You won't be seeing me until probably the week after next week. So, until then, chat, I hope you all have a fantastic week. If you are in the States right now, stay safe. Keep fighting for what is right. Keep being you. Do not, under any circumstances, try to agitate the police. Don't let them use that as ammo against you. Please be kind to each other. Please be loving to each other. And yeah, I'll talk to you all sometime the week after next week.